Good evening, everyone. My name is Marquise James Mayo Sr., and welcome to I'm Just Saying. This will be a irregular broadcast posting of my feelings on different subjects, pop culture, politics, movies, TV shows, music, personal stuff. Not too personal, obviously. Put too much business out there on the book. Some people get all, just out of control with it. So this is just, a forum for me to kind of get my feelings on different topics out there. I don't expect everybody to agree with how I feel about certain things. I don't expect everybody to watch these videos, and that's fine. That's not why I'm doing it. For me, it is just a way to kind of get things off my chest, get my feelings out there, and just get my opinions out there on different subjects. Some of the things would be like small, trivial stuff, like this whole, for instance, the whole Marshawn Lynch thing going on now with the media and him choosing to answer the questions the way he did. To me, that's a trivial thing. Just as a little quick little thing here. Personally, he said he had to answer the questions or pay $500,000 fine. You tell me, what would you do? Would you pay the fine and take a stand, like it seems like he wants to do? Or would you get out there and perform the buffoonery, as some people might call it, what he's doing? Quite honestly, I don't care. I'm going to watch the game on Sunday. It's the Super Bowl. But I really could care less about how he handles the media. He's a millionaire athlete. Should he be more professional? Probably. Is he allowed to take a stand for whatever his reason may be? He has that right. How he decides to take that stand is not up to you or I. It's up to him. And if they don't find him, even though he answered the questions the way he did, then, he won. And honestly, it's a very trivial thing. It's not going to affect the Super Bowl in any way. It's still going to be a great game, I think. And, we'll see what happens. But back on to the main thing here. The first show I wanted to do, this was actually inspired by a good friend of mine, a very dear friend, Jake Williams. On Facebook is Jerry Jake Williams. He was talking about today. First of all, if you haven't already done so on a regular basis, peep his posts. My man drops a lot of knowledge on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Proud of you, Jake. He was talking today about the pure ratchetness on television depicting us black people. And I just did a little research. You guys tell me, and as I post the videos, I want to say this. I'll say it again at the end. Any comments you have, any suggestions you have for maybe a future video or anything like that, put it in the comment section. If it's something a little bit more personal, you can inbox me. I'll tell you this. I value anybody's opinion, even if it's criticism of something I might say, of a position I might take. I'm fine with that. I'm all good with that. It's a free country. But if you're disrespectful, I'll just block you, and that'll just be the end of it. I'm not gonna get into no back and forth over people who are being disrespectful. If you have a different opinion and you want to debate, I'm cool with that. I'm more than happy to do that. But I don't deal with disrespect. So if you want to get out of pocket, I'll block you, and then that'll be that. But did a little research, and what I'm going to do, I went and looked at TV shows and music. I watch TV. I love TV. So, feel about it how you want to feel about it, A lot of TV shows growing up meant different things to me at different times in my life. A lot of music to this day meant different things to me at different times in my life. So here's the list I came up with. I'm going to start with the TV shows first. And I'm going to start with the older shows. I'm 31, so I'm talking about shows 80s, 90s, maybe early 2000s. The Hughleys, Martin, Cosby Show, Different World, In the House, Parenthood, which very underrated show. Sister, Living Single, New York Undercover, The Steve Harvey Show, The Wayans Brothers, Family Matters, Fresh Prince, and a oldie but goodie, 227. Now, honestly, that list could be so much longer. It really could. Obviously, the thing about the list is that these are black shows, whether it's an all-black cast or the majority of the main characters are black. Now, this is what we have on TV today. And obviously, I don't list everything because I don't have a complete list of every, black drama, comedy, reality show in front of me. But this is what I've pulled up. Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop, all incarnations of it. Basketball Wives, all incarnations of it. Empire, Flavor of Love, I Love New York. Bad Girls Club, even though there's a lot of different ethnicities of women on that show, there's a lot of black women they put on that show. And it's called the Bad Girls Club, so go figure. For the Love of Ray J, Making the Band, remember that one. R&B Divas, A Real Chance at Love, or whatever it was called. All My Baby's Mamas. Yeah. Ice Loves Coco. Tiny and Toya. Preachers of L.A. I'll get into that one and a few other shows down the line. And then Football Wives. So I guess that was the spinoff of Basketball Wives. I didn't get into that one. I don't really get into pretty much all of these on the list. What is the main difference between the first list I read and the second one? The main difference to me, substance. Those older shows, pretty much most of them on this list was about a family, a black family. The good times, the bad times, there was a message. Now, most of them here, except for New York Undercover, which obviously had its funny moments, but that was more of a drama. Everything else on here is a comedy. So it made you laugh. But one of the things that, to me, that always made me laugh is that all of these shows, all of them on this list, are very relatable to everyday life as an African American. You might watch an episode of, and one of the shows I didn't put on the list, but one of the shows that I would just laugh myself stupid was the Damon Wayans show, his show that he had. Just the interaction. You watch the cast and his ad-libbing, they could barely hold their laughter back. That kind of stuff that's the kind of stuff I miss on TV, where you can watch a show, you can learn something, you can laugh, and not laugh at just, pure ratchetness and thottery. But you can laugh at, stuff that that you and your family could go through, or that you probably have gone through. That's what I miss about TV shows today. And the problem with all of these reality shows is that's the image that America is getting of us. Is that's how we act when there are no cameras around. Which is what people need to understand is that these people are putting on a persona, they're putting on a character. I would really hate to believe that some of the people on these reality shows are really that way in real life. I can't for the life of me accept that that's the case. And I hope that it's not. I really do. They're being paid to be a character. Call it reality TV all you want to. I would say it's definitely not as scripted as a scripted show, but there's still some direction given by the producers and everything of the show. So that's my daughter. She just came down the stairs. So like I said, the biggest issue is that, all the just complete ignorance that goes on those shows. People take that, it's almost like they're living up to old stereotypes and almost creating new ones. And, for me, I'm kind of an each his own, to each his own kind of guy. You do what makes you happy. You do what feels right to you. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, I have no problem with the direction your life takes. But at the end of the day, and another show I'm going to throw on that second list is Empire. At the end of the day, if all we can do to get on TV, to get a reality show, to get a drama, to get a comedy, is to be caricatures of ourselves, then, I would rather not be on TV. I would rather not have a show. I would rather, find another way to brand myself, to brand my people. You want to say goodnight?
Good night.
Say hi to the people.
Hi.
That was Bosco. I'm making a video. So, I would rather find a different way to make a name for myself, because you have to remember, for some weird reason, whenever black folk get to a certain level, they don't just represent themselves, they represent their entire race. That doesn't happen with most other races or cultures. I don't know why. But that happens with us more often than not. Athletes. Athletes can't say certain things or do certain things because as soon as they do, then, they're a bad influence on kids because, or like, well, here they go again. There's another one of those black millionaires. And it's like, the thing that always got me about the athlete thing is, if you want to go to a club, you should be allowed to go to a club. You shouldn't have to worry about, the media's portrayal of you going to a club to hang out with your people, your teammates, whatever the case may be. There they go again, going out late at night. And, that's only when bad stuff happens is that, come on now. There are more than black men, black athletes at a club. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. If you're out there getting completely drunk, doing dumb stuff, taking guns into the club, then, what happens is on you. You bring that on yourself. But if you're going to have a good time, You know, just because you're an athlete or you're a rapper or you're a TV star, you know, people say they, in order to become that famous, you gotta, give up the idea of this expectation of privacy and you're a public figure and blah, blah, blah. And that may be true, but that doesn't mean that you can't still live your life and go out and do the things you enjoy. And that's to me that, you just, we're made to represent our entire race instead of just being able to represent ourselves. And if I'm an actor and, go to a bunch of different studios and they want me to play that same, character, that thug, that's, or, what I mean, that hustler, anything like that just kind of perpetuates the stereotype. It got to get to a point where you just got to say no, or you just don't start doing it in the first place. If that's the only way they want to portray you in Hollywood, then find another avenue to showcase your talents. And that's my problem with the reality shows is that, it's that same just ratchetness. I mean, I don't like to I don't want to keep using that word, but that's what it is. It's just pure ratchetness. And the question is, why? Are you okay letting everybody in America, whoever might watch around the world, see you as this ratchet, ignorant person? That they are going to then put that on your entire race? Oh, that all of them act like that. That's how everybody. That's how all of them are. And I'm not saying that. And that's not fair. That is not fair at all for a handful of people to have to represent their entire race. That's not fair because, like I said, that doesn't happen too often across other cultures. But it happens a lot with us. And my thing is knowing that. I mean, there's unfairness across the board, but knowing that, do you still go out there and partake in the buffoonery? That's a question that these actors and actresses and athletes and musicians need to ask themselves. And speaking of music, I love music. It's a part of me. I grew up listening to all kinds of music. People used to get on me, family used to get on me because I was knee deep into metal, heavy metal. You know what I mean? Still listen to it. R&B, jazz, rap. I grew up singing gospel music. I was, on the choir for many years, different choirs over the years. I love music. So let me throw a couple of these at you. Earth, Wind and Fire, Parliament Funkadelic, James Brown, Barry White, Temptations, Sam Cooke, one of the greatest of all time, Ray Charles, Michael Jackson, Sly and the Family Stone brought them up, Isley Brothers, Gap Band, and I can go on and on and on. I could just run off for like the next 1,000 years. But this is what we have today on the radio. Bobby Shmurda, Migos, Young Thug, Lil Wayne, Nicki, Drake. Drake. Folk like that. That's what we have on the radio today. I don't even need to point out the difference between black music then and now. Now, like I said, I'm 31. I was born in 83. If you want to take it to my early generation of rap, and I'll put them in there, in the group of innovators and game changers, NWA, Public Enemy, hands down, Rakim, Jay-Z, come on. That's KRS-One. You don't see that anymore. You don't. Um, Most of the good black music these days come from the R&B artists. The women in R&B, the black women in R&B have been holding it down for a very long time. You got guys like John Legend and, Anthony Hamilton. I mean, that's where the good black music is coming from now. Some of those rappers I named, it's a good beat. Good beat, bob your head too. Speakers banging as you driving up and down the streets. And that's all good. But turn the beat off and listen to the lyrics. Empty. It's the same stuff over and over again. Nothing uplifting, nothing to be proud of, unless you're into that kind of life, which that's never anything to be proud of. But I say all of that to say, we have to do better. We have to demand better. If we don't want, these reality show portrayals to continue to be on TV that you don't watch. TV shows stay on the air based on their ratings. The higher the ratings, the more viewership they have, the longer they stay on the air. Once the viewership starts to dip, they move time slots, they'll move into a different day. And then eventually it gets to the point where they just take them off the air. There's not enough people watching. Now, what do you think will happen to every reality show out there? All the ones, the black reality shows, so to speak. If the majority of their audience, which are black people, were to just stop watching, it wouldn't be on the air. They're not making any money. The TV business is a cutthroat business. They got to make money. They need, that's their bottom line. Is their bottom line. If you're not making them any money, they have no need for you on the air. So, like I said in the beginning, these are just my opinions and my feelings on different topics and subjects. And I thank Jake for bringing this to the forefront. I know many people have, over time about these issues of, the state of black culture in music and television and movies. This the award show coming up, the Oscars. Not a major black actor nominated in any of the major categories, and I mean, does it suck? Yeah. Does it bother you? It should. But are you really surprised? I mean, some of the greatest actors in the history of Hollywood have been black actors and actresses that, had to wait 30, 40 years, do God knows how many films before they get their due. So I'm not surprised that that's the case. And also, people have to be given a chance. If there are not a lot of good movies, good performances out there from black actors and actresses, you have nothing to pick from. You have to pick all the other movies because there's nothing else. There's no good roles to choose from. There's no good movies that black folk are in that are worthy of being nominated. So to kind of wrap all that up in a nice little package, like I said, we have to want better. We have to demand, that we are represented as the proud, family-oriented people that we are, loving, caring. All the stereotype stuff has to go. It's 2015. It shouldn't still be going on, but it is. And there has to come a time that we put our foot down and say enough is enough. And the sad thing is before me, how many times have you heard somebody come out and say, we need to stand up. We need to do something about it. Nothing happens. People just keep watching the same BS over and over again. And nothing changes. Nothing changes at all. In fact, in some instances, it gets worse. So, my thoughts on this whole thing is that, we have to want better than what they're giving us. And what they're giving us is not who we are. And we have to want shows like, Martin, A Different World, and The Cosby Show, and The Parenthood. Maybe not those obviously specific shows that are off the air now, but to get shows like that back on the air. Family Matters is one of my favorite shows of all time. Funny, and there was always a message. There was always a story. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Put something like that back on the air where you have a black family going through life, going through the ups and downs, having good times, having bad times, good times. Speaking of a excellent black show, instead of putting this ridiculousness on TV and just expecting us to be okay with it, we can't be okay with it anymore. We just can't. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the conclusion of the first of hopefully many web shows for I'm Just Saying. So, leave your comments in the comments section. As I said, after I post this, if you want to shoot me a inbox message, by all means do so. Like I said, if you have a topic for the next show or for another show, or if you want to expand on this one, I have no problem in doing so. I'm open to any suggestions. So, all you guys out there, guys and gals, be safe. Love y'all. Take it easy.